Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Matt Raminick, zooming in from Costa Mesa. Matt is the founder of Sunnyside, a marketing collective based in Orange County that partners with some of the most respected brands in fashion and outdoor to drive measurable growth. With an extensive background in growth strategy and a passion for helping brands scale with intention, Matt has built Sunnyside into a go-to partner for companies seeking results and real collaboration. Known for a no-fluff, deeply strategic approach, Matt works closely with the founders and CMOs to turn underperforming marketing channels and creative into growth engines and agency relationships into true partnerships. Matt shares insights on building a high-performing team, navigating economic uncertainty, and what it takes to create lasting brand momentum in today's competitive landscape. Welcome, Matt.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it, Danny.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how this works and how you got into it.
Yeah, I've been interested in marketing and creative my whole career. I started out as a creative and actually worked in the music industry for a while, and that's what brought me to California 25 years ago from Florida. Made my way into working with different types of surf brands. I was in the surf industry for a long time right here in Orange County. And then the pivotal turning point for me was about 5.5 years ago. I was laid off from an executive role at a major retailer here in based out of Anaheim,
Mm-hmm.
and saw it as kind of like the thing that I needed to push me over the edge to get this thing started. And so that was really that was all the motivation I needed. It took a leap, and here we are, 5 or so years later, and work with a bunch of great brands. We have a great team. But I had no agency experience prior, and that was kind of the thing. I started before I was ready, and that would be really, that's some of the advice I always give young entrepreneurs who are looking to do their own thing is, not you don't have to quite wait to have it all figured out, and sometimes you just go for it.
It's almost like having kids. You're really never ready. You just do it and figure it out, right?
So true, so true. I've got two myself, and both young ones, and so yeah, I
Right,
totally agree.
right. They change your life and you don't know in which direction it's going to go, but you just go and it's
Yeah.
like you have them, so it's like it's too late. You got to figure it out.
So true. There's a lot of parallels actually to parenting and owning a business, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, because it's your baby too. It just doesn't cry, it doesn't need a bottle, but it needs a lot of attention.
It does, and that was one of the things that I think for me early on, especially, I didn't realize coming into it were just all the things that you need to do as a business owner, especially just starting
Hmm.
out, and because you're HR, you are payroll, you're dealing with contracts, and it's all kind of on you, and there's no one really to do it for you. So that was a big eye opener for me, and I think my philosophy has always just been my whole career is it's like who do I get to help me with this versus sometimes just taking the time and spending too much time to figure it out, and just getting surrounding some really good people around me and getting their help about it because otherwise it's yeah, you can get bogged down pretty quickly, huh?
Right, right. And it's not like payroll and bookkeeping or doing taxes is probably something that doesn't get you excited, but you have to do it. So why not hire somebody that does it well? They're excited about doing it. They do it way better than you and I would ever do it, and you can concentrate on your passion.
It's it, yeah, and that goes for anybody I think on my team and just my hiring philosophy. It's really just about getting the right people who are the best at what they do,
Hmm.
and surrounding myself around with those type of people. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong about something or if I don't know
Hmm.
about something, and I
Hmm.
think that's really helped me, and I think it takes some of the pressure off of some of the folks on the team. And so, yeah, I'm a big believer in that, and I think that's really helped me guide me in terms of how to build a team.
Now I don't know if you read or maybe our audience, whether they read or not, but a book by Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time, talks
Mm,
specifically about that and how to peel the layers off of us personally from our desk,
hmm.
and so we can concentrate on what we do really well and what we enjoy. It part of that part of the business.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that one to the list. There's one called Who Not How. I forget the author, but it's kind of talks about that as well too, where it's like, you can spin your wheels trying to figure out something, and if it's outside your area of expertise, or you could find the best person who does it and bring them along and move
Right,
on
right.
to the next one.
That's the idea. No,
Hmm.
so tell us a little bit, walk us through how it works when you have a client, how you figure out what they need, and then how you execute, and then what does the executed plan look like for them, and how do they come out a winner?
Yeah, great question. So for us, our ideal client is really a brand, lifestyle brand, mostly apparel, outdoor. We work with a lot of surf brands. A lot of them are based here in Southern California. But we look for a few things. One is like a strong product market fit, and there's an establishment here that's already kind of in place. We don't work with a ton of startups coming out of the gate. We have though, and we have like a special program just for those types of brands. But we're looking at clients that are doing anywhere between 10 and 50 million in annual revenue and looking to
Hmm.
scale efficiently. A lot of them have hit some kind of plateau or outgrown their current agency partner. We've onboarded with clients that have come from really big agencies and kind of hit a wall with them with just turnover on the team, or just they were unhappy for some reason or another. So
Hmm.
our whole plan is really to just bring some clarity and tighten up the strategy and figure out how to drive some growth. And we manage all aspects of marketing and creative. So it's performance media, so your Google Meta ads, TikTok, Pinterest, but also we do uh, a lot with branding and creative, and we develop a lot of creative, and so it's a bit of a full 360 sort of offering. And so I
Hmm.
think. For us, the thing that we bring to the table that's kind of unique compared to others in this field is really it's a lot of integration and ownership. And so, big differentiator for us is that a lot of our team come from brands. We're actually pretty skewed in terms of our background as working in-house at a lot of these different lifestyle brands. And so, the team actually brings a bit of expertise from that point of view. And so we've
Hmm.
typically been at the table a lot earlier than a lot of agencies would be called in. And so that's a big deal to us. And then the second thing is like we're just trying to operate like we're on the client's payroll, right? There's no like black box reporting. We don't have a junior team that the client doesn't ever meet.
Hmm.
And so we try to look at it as, having just building a true partnership, right? Like one they don't
Hmm.
have to really worry about. And so I think that's got us pretty far. I think just by trying to differentiate through that um, and come with solutions that are practical and ladder up to the brand's overall bigger goals. I think that's really helped us to sort of be able to scale. And I would say like our point of differentiation, or our ultimate goal is like if we can get one of our key client stakeholders promoted, like that, then we know we did our job
Right.
right.
Right. So does that include like filming for social media and managing the social media outlets that these companies have to promote the products and promote them and promote the brand?
We don't directly manage those things, but we help inform a lot of that strategy for them. So when it comes to the creative, we look at it from the lens of, price, product, promotion. Is it aligned with who their target audience is? And then in a lot of instances, that does help inform what they're doing for their social media channels. Our focus is more on the growth drivers through paid media and paid advertising and the creative that gets used for some of that, which as a result of some of the work on the front end we end up using that they produce for their organic Instagram channel, for example.
Right. So do you see that many firms have like in-house social media team that they utilize for that?
Yeah, in most cases they do. And I think that with the size brands that we typically work with, that's pretty common. But in a lot of cases, we'll see that it's something that they either outsource to like a contract resource, or they'll have like a separate team that sort of manages all that. But we stay in pretty close lockstep with them, whoever that might be, just because in a lot of cases, like I said, like there's content that can be leveraged for different channels or different tactical purposes that
Hmm.
they might just be creating from a brand perspective. So our whole thing is really trying to look at it as meaningful connections with the customer at every single touch point, even if it's something we may not be managing or have like a control over, we're still
Right.
trying to help inform sort of what that looks like a little bit.
Right. So working collectively as a team to introduce and continue the product branding.
Yeah, because great marketing is it sort of connects that creativity and the business performance component of it. And so for us, it's really more about, yeah, like what's the overall overarching goal? Like what is success like to the brand and the CMO and the CFO and the founder? And that's our North Star versus sort
Hmm.
of like a vanity metric within a channel, which in a lot of cases matters. Like we look at those things and that's how we
Right.
can understand the performance aspect of things. But yeah, we're
Right.
really looking at the bigger picture.
So now, so a company that ranges maybe between 10 to 50 million in sales, what's your goal? Is it to double, triple that revenue? What does that look like? And then how long does that usually take to solidify?
Yeah, good question. It varies in most cases. Some brands are more concerned with top line growth, like they're really just thinking about how they can grow the overall revenue number. Some are more
Mm.
concerned with profitability, and so that's kind of our what we're chasing. So maybe not as aggressive of a growth goal, but more focus on margin.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them perhaps have stagnated or they, have hit a wall where they maybe have seen their new customer acquisition numbers go down or it's become more expensive. And so we come in to kind of fix those things. So it really depends. I'd say that there's no one size fits all sort of approach that we have, and it's
Mm-hmm.
truly dependent on the overall business objectives for each one.
So basically it's tailored to their needs because
Hmm.
everybody has different needs.
Yeah, because in my experience over the years, I've worked with many agencies, and I was usually the one who was tasked with managing them day to day. And I've worked with a lot of really great ones and a lot of not great ones. And I think that the ones that I've drawn inspiration from as a business owner has been those that have really sort of try to understand the real objectives and goals and tailor the service around that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not easy to do because you have to sort of de-average what you're doing across a bunch of different clients versus
Right.
the sort of traditional playbook, which is more uh, coming up with a very prescriptive service
Right.
offering
Right.
and
Right.
sort of using it across the board. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now, okay, so tell us, you start the business and who's the first hire? What layer do you peel off first?
That's yeah, good question. First person I called was a really good friend of mine, a brilliant designer, named Evan Back is. He's great. If anybody out there is looking for a brilliant design resource.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically called him and I said, "Hey, I'm starting this thing. I need your help coming up with a website and the branding for it and the identity. We need to make it look like it's much bigger than it actually is,
Mm-hmm.
right, coming out of the
Right.
gate."
More than one person?
Yeah, more than one. And so I was lucky. I had some time to sort of figure it out before just going to market straight away. And so we took a little bit of time. We really came up with sort of the messaging around it and how we wanted to show up. And then was doing some work kind of in the background. And the way I scaled, I was able to do it was just purely through a lot of grit and bootstrapped it myself. And the way I did that was just after I had gone through the process with Evan and the design and getting the identity set up, the next
Mm-hmm.
person I called was really a former coworker of mine who he's like a campaign manager and he's a creative resource. And so he was the one who sort of helped with like project management and keeping things moving. Because I had a couple of clients were that I brought in right away that had been consulting clients of mine. And
Mm-hmm.
so we didn't start from scratch, fortunately. And I built it through you leveraging contract resources as we got more work. So we got a new client, bring in a couple contractors, pay them hourly
Mm-hmm.
based on the scope. build that up, bring in another client, find another couple people. Now maybe we're
Okay.
ready to hire full time, so we bring in a full-time resource. And so we've been able to
Yeah.
stair step it that way. And that's really been critical to the growth piece of it because we haven't had any there's no outside investment, there's nothing behind the scenes happening.
Right. Yeah. It's hard, right? You got to do
Yeah.
it. You got to fund it. You got to make it work.
Yep, you do. Yeah, and it's not easy. It's definitely a hamster wheel sometimes, but um, it's all worth it in the end. I think at this point it'd be hard for me to consider something else at this point.
Right. No, you're embedded, you're in it, and you're making it work. And when you basically burn the boats, it's like there's only one direction to go from there is up,
True, true.
right? So if somebody's thinking about doing their own business, I mean, this is a great example of how you can get started, and that's probably like in any business. What's been your biggest hurdle, and how did you overcome that?
Um, Biggest hurdle, it was, I don't know, it's for me has been thinking about where and when to make a move. For me, there's been no playbook to this, and there
Hmm.
isn't really like a prescriptive path, right? And so I think
Hmm.
that you know, the biggest thing is just everything takes longer than you think it will, and that's okay, right? And I think
Right.
as a founder, your job is particularly if it's something you've never done before, it's sort of stay in the discomfort zone long enough to be able to figure it out.
Right.
Um, and I think, yeah, like a big component of this that I've learned too is that you have to build trust with these clients you're working with, and each one of them is going to have different needs. And there's a lot you can draw from the hospitality industry, I think. And speaking of
Hmm.
books, there's a great book called uh, The Unreasonable Hospitality, and it's by Will Goodyear, who was one of the founders of Love and Medicine Park in New York City. And he talks a lot about how the, there's parallels in hospitality with any service industry, and so we try to look at that as a way of differentiation. And
Right.
so, in starting your own business, think of those ways. Like, what are some of the things that others are doing that you can maybe improve upon, like even marginally?
Mhm.
And that's going to be, I think, ways you can find differentiation.
Right. No. Those are really good tips. And so as we wrap up the interview, what are exciting plans in the next 6 to 12 months?
It's exciting. We're hiring some really great people. I'm excited about the team that we have in place, and we just continue to try to bring in the most talented folks we can. We've recently expanded our service offering. We're doing a lot more with brand identification and brand work. So we're doing workshops with clients. We're helping them really truly hone in on what what they stand for, who they serve, what their messaging is, who they're trying to take market share from, all those great things that help inform everything else that the brand
Hmm.
does and
Hmm.
help them grow. So we've done a lot more. We've expanded into other channels like TikTok. We're doing a ton with TikTok these days. It's just an area of opportunity for a lot of brands with the way that that platform has really grown in the last couple of years. So it's an exciting time. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. It comes with its
Right.
challenges. But yeah, I think the next 6 to 12 months is going to be a pretty fun time for us just with all the things we have going on. Yeah.
Well, Matt, that's amazing, and congratulations on your success. And thanks so much for sharing all your insights and tips. Now, if somebody's listening to us and would like to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, our website's sunnysidecalifornia.com. You can reach us on there. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm on there a lot and I'm always kind of trying to share some insights whenever I can. But yeah, feel free to reach out. We're always looking for some new clients in the fashion and outdoor verticals, and so yeah, I'd love to chat and hear kind of what's going on.
Very good. Well, thanks so much, Matt, for coming on. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com forward/guest.